everyone, welcome to the Hobby Streakers. My name is JG. Today we are gonna do something a little bit different. So this is a tile I created, which is supposed to be a city tile where you have the tarmac in the middle and on the side basically the sidewalk. I made also tiles that are gonna go next to it, which have a grid pattern of, I believe, 1 inch for, like, you know, sidewalk tiles looking. As you can see, the finish is pretty bad, and I am working with my printer just to try to solve this issue. Now, as you can see, well, you cannot, but this is actually in my paint booth because we're gonna be using a rattle can on this tile to do different effect. Now, for the tarmac, and you can see that there are some cracks and things like this, but I am actually gonna remove that on the final product that I'm gonna, on the final piece that I'm gonna get out. And also there was a crack in between this, but again, because of my printer finish, it actually does not really look like a crack. So I need to work on the actual 3D file, but this is a tutorial on how to make tarmac. Now, you've probably seen a whole bunch of different tutorial out there, and again, I've seen a few. I don't know if the technique I'm gonna show you today is any different or it's been done before. Probably. I don't think I would be the only one to think of that, but I think it gives a great effect and it works really well for this purpose. Now, the first thing that we're gonna do, and this is what I always use, is filler primer that is also sandable. So the reason I use this is because it's gonna fill some of the details that are pretty bad on this. It probably will smooth out a little bit of this. Again, I'm working on my next style. I'll probably do some ironing on the 3D print and everything, but again, this is not a 3D printing thing, so let me skip right ahead. This is gonna be our first layer, and we actually will leave the sidewalk this color because I think it really works really well. So let me go ahead and do that, and I will talk to you once that's done. Again, I'm not showing you the process of using a rattle can. Again, it's just, you know, just cover the entire thing, and then when it sits dry, we'll continue on the video. Also, I am using a vent with the fan with a outside. Here we go, as you can see there. So that's my filter. There is a fan on the back, extractor fan that throws the air outside. This is not on right now because I'm talking, but I will turn it off, and I will turn off the camera, and then I will go ahead and turn this vent on, and I will use a rebreather mask with filters because, again, this stuff is pretty nasty. Alright, see you in a bit. Alright, as you can hear, the vent is on, and you can hear my voice through the mask. So I'm gonna take off the mask because I'm not spray painting anymore, but I will keep the vent on. Hopefully, well, it's not too loud. This is now primed with the filler primer. As you can see, it filled in some of the cracks and everything. Again, not to worry about it, this is just a test piece. I might use it on my board, but again, it's not maybe not. We're gonna let this dry, and then we will continue on step 2. Now, when we come back, I will already have shown you, well, this is what we'll be using. So, multicolor texture. This, I'm not even sure what the hell is the color. It's not gonna matter much. Age iron, apparently. Whatever. We're gonna use on top of it matte, flat. You want the flat, you want something that is matte, flat black, and so that is really matte, and that's what we're gonna be looking for. This is gonna be our texture, and I don't know if you can see the texture itself, but it will give a little bit of a texture on this. Now, to achieve this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this dry, and then we're gonna nicely cover with some painter's tape the sidewalk on each side, and then we're gonna put that layer of texture so that that's all where we want it, and then we're gonna leave it on until we do the flat black on top of it. So we're gonna let this dry, and we'll be back in a while. And as you can see, it's drying. We can still see a little bit of the striation, so I might just put another coat of primer on it. Alright everyone, and we're back. And so, as you can see, there are now 2 coats, about roughly, of the primer. You could spend the time and maybe just sand the surface and then put another coat. Again, this is a more test piece than anything else, so I'm gonna just leave it like that. It's fine. Now, next step is gonna have to be taping. So again, the regular painter's tape, and now if you want to do this on something that is more like a band or a strip, or if you're doing some just modular roads, I know some people will put that on a piece of cloth or anything like this. If you have any side that you want to avoid doing the whole painting and looking like a road, then again you do the same thing. Put your tape down, and especially make sure that it's nice and flush, and here we go. So I'm gonna keep doing that. I will also, those are open lock version of those boards, and so I use the open lock to do the base, so I do not want too much grind in there, so I will also mask this side as well, and we'll do the other side, and then we'll be ready to continue. And now this is done, and we are ready to go on to the tarmac step, which again, this is what I've chosen. It is the darkest I could find, which you will see it's actually not that color at all, but there are different grit that you can find. Again, I don't think the color really important because we're gonna cover it with the flat black anyway afterwards. So you want to find a texture that really suits your need. Tarmac is not that rough, I mean, when I see people using 80 grit, I'm like, Tarmac is not that bad. This, I think, is a lot closer to what Tarmac is to that scale. And that scale is, of course, for guys like this guy, which is a 20 mil modern military. And so this is kind of what we're gonna go for. So again, this is the one I'm using. It is Rust-Oleum, multicolor texture, and this one is Age Iron. And that's the one that I think looked the best. Again, your mileage may vary, and just decide to use whatever you want. I'm gonna turn out that hood back on so it sucks up the fumes. I'm gonna put my mask back on, and I will spray paint, and I'll be right back for you guys in about a second. And we're back. Alright, so as you can see, this is quite thick of a paint, and you can see maybe from God, and it stinks too. And I did wear my respirator, and the hood is on, but I should have kept the respirator on, waiting for the fumes to go away. But anyways, so that thing kind of is super thick. First of all, you need to make sure that it's super warm, and you shake it really well. And so yeah, now all the misprint and everything, that's just gone now. So if you use that technique, there's no point in having any kind of underlying features in your road. Now this is gonna dry, and it's gonna settle a little bit, and some of the things are gonna go. Alright, let me just give me a... I might want to put some more in that corner over there. Just let me put my mask on. Alright. As you can see, this is quite thick. So yeah, this is pretty much what you're looking at. And alright, I'm gonna let it dry with the hood on and with the exhaust fan on, and so just to see how it will turn out, and then we'll move on to the next step. And we're back, and as you can see, so we have our texture, and even like, yeah, you can see like some places maybe a little bit thick, but even that, like, it doesn't really matter. It's actually gonna give it more texture overall. And so the next step, now I guess you could leave it like this if you really wanted to, but what I like to do is do a flat black on it and just make it look like Tarmac. Now it is all black, so this now is shining because it's basically wet, but as it's gonna dry, this is why I use the flat. It's really gonna make it completely just flat, matte, and yeah, we'll be ready for the next step. And actually, you can, after it dried, you can still see a little bit of where the distress was put into the original print, like you can see right here, that mark right there. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna let that dry again, a few seconds for you, few hours for me, and we'll continue for the next steps. While I'm here, what I like to do is basically, if you want to do any distress on this, just use a sharp knife, hobby knife, and just go through and remove that layer. Once you've done that, You can spray again black if you want to cover that, or I will show you after that a method I found to imitate what they use here in cracks in the road. When there's cracks in the road, they put this, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's some kind of tarmac as well, or it's just some yeah, so they put that in the cracks and it looks, it's got those really black shiny marks that it leaves on the tarmac, and so we'll do something a little bit similar. But again, need to let that dry. So alright, and we're back, and here we go. And I think this gives it a really nice look for tarmac road. Now, and this is what I was talking about. So for me, right, if you're done, you could be done with this and be like, okay, this is fine. You remove your sticky painter's tape and you're done. Now, what I'm gonna do is I am actually gonna use this knife to open the crack that was already in there, but what you can do as well is just extend it. And again, like, you can just make your own. There we go. And I'm just gonna basically leave it at that. I'm just gonna do one up there. And it's still a little bit not quite dry. The whole thing is not quite dry, but anyway, here we go. So now you have your cracks. Alright, so since we now have the cracks and everything, I'm gonna use granite gray and I am gonna do some dry brushing. So, big honking, make a brush, and we are gonna do some dry brushing. This is a little bit too blue in my opinion, but we will try to do some dry brush with this. And I'm trying to get rid of most of the paint. Alright, and let's see. Still a little bit too much. Alright, and we're gonna try to not do too bad of a dry brushing job, and I would think that that might be a bit too much. I'm not too sure. Again, like, this is where you do you and you figure out what level of dry brushing works better for you. And again, roads, unless they're brand new roads, which are really black, most of the roads are kind of grayish. So here we go. Here we go. I'm pretty happy how this is turning out. And there we go. Alright. What do you guys think? Cool, huh? I'm hoping that, yeah, okay. And so, again, you want to use matte paint, but yeah, it gives that bumpiness from the paint, from the texture paint, and here we go. I think that looks pretty cool. Now we have those cracks that we need to take care of. So to do this, what we're gonna do now is use some Mod Podge gloss, some gloss paint black, and what we're gonna do is basically just use that mix, and I'm gonna do, here we go. So we have our black paint and our Mod Podge, a pretty old and crappy brush, and we want to mix and so that it's a nice dark color, but also consistency that is thick enough so that you can fill in the cracks, and it's gonna look like what I was saying before, those black rubber seal, and I looked it up, it's actually rubber sealant, and it's crack street sealant, and so that's what we're gonna use. So we want to take a little bit and just start applying it in your cracks, and what you want to do is just basically fill those cracks and follow, just like if you were actually repairing the road that we just destroyed a few minutes ago. And here you go. And then we'll do this one, and yeah, it starts to look pretty good. Now, alright, you can also do stains and things of that kind in your street, and again you want to use matte paint. One that I found that works well is using a really diluted brown, nutmeg for example. Again, cheap craft paints. If you want to do a lot, you might not want to use your own paint, but anyways, here we go. Now you have your cracks that look like they have sealant on them. Now because we use the gloss paint and the Mod Podge, which is also gloss, this is pretty much how it's gonna stay. This is, that's how it's gonna look. Now you might wanna cover this with sealant first, like a clear coat, again matte clear coat, cover the entire thing, and then once you're done, go back and do what I just did. So again, this is just because I'm trying to show you a lot of different things. Now if you take something like this paint, and I am gonna try to find a container that I can use. Alright, put some of that paint, and I am trying to find some water. Here we go. That's actually a mix of different things, but what you want to do is make sure that you're really diluting this, because you want something that's gonna be super runny. That's not even gonna be close enough. So yeah, there we go. So again, there we go. As you can see on this, like, you want something that is super runny. something that's barely gonna stain, because that's what you want to do. So for example, you can just do a little bit, and this, because it's so diluted, it is gonna fade away. You might want to put some, that's way too much, so let's just soak it up. There we go. Alright, that's more what you're looking for. So again, you want something that is really diluted, just so that it does not look too strong. Because I mean, you know, cars go on it and everything. Stains won't stay like this. And because they are quite diluted, it'll go in the cracks, and you know, it'll stay like this. You can do the same with other colors. You might want to do black. Again, do not use the gloss black. Use something like this, which is matte black. You might not want that big of a pot, but you can find those tiny ones in different matte and not matte gloss and things like this, and even satin. Some of them are very cheap. Walmart, Michaels, they have their brand as well, which is also pretty cheap. Don't remember the name of their brand, but anyways, that's kind of what you want. And that's it. Like, that's a pretty good looking tile, I think. I don't know what you guys think. Just let me know in the comment. And we are gonna remove our tape to reveal our sidewalk, and then we will have our full, there we go. And here you go. Sidewalk and tarmac in the middle. I will be printing some, and you can even just, you know, like with that little brown that we had. And again, we want something super diluted because we started in that corner. We might want to just go a little bit on that sidewalk joint, just to make it look a little bit more in line with this. And again, you can use the same principle. Now those joints, again, any wash you can use in those just to make them pop, and I'll probably do that. But yeah, that's pretty much how you do tarmac. Well, or I think we should do tarmac. I think people should do tarmac. Now, as you can see, this has gone down because it's starting to dry. And I mean, just if you really want to give it that look that it's on top of the pavement and it's covering a crack, just reapply. And you can reapply a few times until you're satisfied with the look. And I think it looks okay. There we go. I am gonna print a sidewalk so that I can put them together and show you. So that would be in the next video, and I will probably do some wash maybe on the bottom there, maybe some dark wash, and then on the top there some well, here for the cracks and the joint in between, maybe something for that. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Let me know what you think again in the comment down below, and if it's something you've seen before, just please let me know where. Give me a video. And not talking about tarmac paint or anything like this. I mean, like this actual technique with the texture rattle can. I think it's pretty easy. The longest part is freaking drying, but if you do 20 different tiles at the same time, then it actually should be pretty quick. There you go. Hope you enjoyed. I will print the other one, and I might put a picture in the video of the two tiles together, just to show you how it looks when there's also the sidewalk. And the sidewalk will be just plain. I'm not gonna go through it, but I mean, you know how to weather things. Just again, you can do some dry, some wash pretty quickly, and some dry brushing on the tiles that I will do probably. We'll see. There you go. Hope you enjoy. See you on our next one. Bye.